Hey artists, today we have a very fun foldable project for you to do, and it starts like this, and then when you expand it and open it up, it becomes some funny ghost emojis, thinking about pumpkins, blowing kisses and winking at each other, and this one on the top is actually wearing a baseball hat that was the top of the tombstone, but turns into his baseball hat. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to fold the paper, draw this part, and then open it up and draw what's on the inside. Okay, go ahead and follow along. Remember, I'll be working quickly, but if you need to pause the video to catch up, that's totally okay. So the first thing that you're going to need is going to be a blank piece of paper. Okay, and you are going to be folding your paper in half from the top all the way down to the bottom, and then crease it just like that. Okay, get a nice little crease. I usually start from the inside and work my way out. So now it just opens like a letter, like this. But you want to keep the bottom flat on the table, and you want to take the top flap and you want to fold it on itself. Fold it in half again, going back up. Not all the way, because that would just be opening your paper back up. You're going to fold it right here and crease it. Okay? Then you're going to flip it over and do the same thing. Crease it again. This gives you an accordion fold. If you look at it from the side, it forms like a W, and it'll open and close like this. Okay? Basically, you are just trying to give yourself a piece of paper that has 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4 when you open it back up, but we want to draw on the top and the bottom section for right now. So we're going to keep it folded. See how it's open and then close. So I'm just going to draw on the top and the bottom for right now, and then when we're done with that, we're going to open it back up and draw in the middle. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to do is draw the tombstone. Okay? So above the fold, you can kind of put this in the middle, I put it over on the side, but we're going to do an arc. And then below the fold, a line down and a line down. Okay? Then you're going to do zigzags for the grass. You can just do zigzags back and forth. I tend to go up and down like that to make it look a little more realistic. And you can add a spider web by doing 1, 2, 3 diagonal lines just from somewhere on the side of the tombstone here, and then connecting them with an arc and an arc. Let's do that a couple more times. Okay? On the inside, this kind of looks like a modified ghost here. It's just going to be a rainbow arc, arc like a rainbow, 2 little eyes. I guess you could technically, I don't really know what that is, so let's just do this little guy right here. Okay. Pretty cool. We are going to color that in a second, but I'm going to trace the whole thing with marker first. So what we want to do is we want to open it up, and then on the inside you're going to be drawing your ghosts. So we actually need to complete the top of the tombstone again, because you've put this up here and that's going to turn into our baseball hat for the other ghost. On the top of that you can make a little spider. Spiders do have 8 legs, but for this we're just going to do 4 because we're making it up. Okay? Then we're going to do a ghost over here who's laughing. Laughing so hard he's got tears coming out. So we're going to do little triangles for the eyes and little arc for the tears. Arc, arc. And then his mouth is going to be a curve, and a curve, and a curve. And then it's going to be a line, triangle, and a triangle that have the points facing down, and triangle, triangle with the points facing up. Then I want you to draw a line in between these 2 teeth and these 2 teeth, and you can shade that in black. If you're going to use marker, you can shade it in later. but I like to keep things straight by doing this. He's actually going to be dreaming about pumpkins. I don't know why he's laughing so hard, but we're going to do a little, this is called a text box. It's got a little V here, and then it's basically a square or a rectangle with curved edges. So I go up, curve, over, curve, down, curve, and back to the V. Then on the inside, we're going to do a very simple pumpkin, not nearly as detailed as the pumpkins that we've done in the past. So it's going to be just a circle with a square or a rectangle on the top. Okay. Let's do a ghost over here. We're going to do another curve like a rainbow. This one's going to have a bow on top, which is a triangle, a circle, and then a triangle pointing towards the circle like that. And you guessed it, a wavy mark along the bottom, just like we did for our pie crust the other week. Now this ghost is going to be winking, so this is going to be like a sideways letter V, but the wink is going to be an eye that goes like this. It's like the eyelashes over here. Okay? And then she's blowing a little kiss, so it's like the number 3. And her text box is going to have a heart, which is funny because you can't really, I mean, I guess you could say the word heart. You don't really say that, but that means we know she's probably blowing a kiss at this guy over here. And maybe he's laughing because he's just thinking about pumpkins. Okay, so now we have those two done, and we need to draw the ghost with the baseball hat, which means I want you to draw a line going down below the fold and then connect it. So see how that's coming down below the fold? And we'll give our ghost lines down. That hat is clearly too big for him. Wavy along the bottom. Bring the brim of the hat back to his body. Creates kind of a triangle V. You can shade that in. Although I guess we're going to use gray later. Circle. Circle. And his mouth is going to be kind of like this one, except it's going to be more of a triangle. This was more like a rectangle. It's going to go over, down, up. And this little area that's free over here, do another tooth, like a fang, I guess is what it's called. Another one in here. And then a little spot that's going to stay white for the tongue. That would get shaded in too. Okay, I am going to go over these really quickly with Sharpie, but if you have colored pencil, crayon, you can actually just do it in pencil. This would work fine in pencil. Just Sharpie will allow it so that I can color it with crayons or colored pencils without losing the detail of my drawing. So notice I'm going just right on top of my lines. And it's okay if I'm going a little too fast, but if I get it a little messy because pencil will erase, but the marker will stay there. What I like about these foldables, there's actually a lot of different ways that we can create our own. In fact, I bet some of you can be creative and invent your own characters, shapes, monsters, even if it doesn't have to do with Halloween, that could go inside a foldable. Basically, it's just folding your paper into 4 sections, like we did at the very beginning, coming up with a design that's above and below the fold, the top and the bottom, and then expanding it and figuring out how you're going to make it look cool in the middle. So very last thing, you don't need to add color. I always like to add a little bit of color. It's called spot coloring. If you have crayons, colored pencils, or markers, go ahead and add a little bit of color. It'll make the effect look even cooler and more realistic if you color the tombstone gray. You can leave that little ghost on the front white. And then you color the ghost's hat gray. Because then, when you fold it down, it'll look like it goes from tombstone to baseball hat. Cool? Thanks for following along. I hope you had a lot of fun, and have a great weekend.